Welcome to our weekly Q&A show where we answer submitted questions live on YouTube on Tuesdays at 2 p.m.
Well, happy Tuesday, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday Q&A show, something we try to do weekly to answer questions that are submitted to us. If you have a question, please don't woof it to us. Please go to whitewaterguidebook.com, look for the Gear Garage tab, scroll down, you'll see ask a question or comment. I know it's not the best form in the world, but submit it to that form anyway. If you submit it any other way, we'll do our best to respond. But if, for example, you give me an Instagram message for the question, I'll see it at that moment, but I might forget about it. I might not write it down and it gets lost. And so if you have questions, we love answering them on the show. Please go to whitewaterguidebook.com. And with that, let's get started. We have a few questions and a few things I just want to share today. So we'll just head into it and go. So first one is footwear and apparel. I'm a recent subscriber and enjoying the videos. Thank you. And doing a private trip down the Middle Fork starting August 6th. That sounds cold to me. It's going to be cold, but awesome. I have two questions. I understand we can expect rain and maybe even snow on the trip. Yep. I plan on snow. Probably won't happen, but it could. What footwear do you recommend? I know you'd be pushing off rocks and warmth is an issue, so I'm thinking about the NRS Storm boot or work boot. Thoughts? Yeah, you won't necessarily be pushing off rocks if you're launching from Indian. So if you're flying into Indian, you might get stuck, but not like if you're launching from Boundary. If you're launching from Boundary Creek, you're portaging log jams. It's epic. Nothing from NRS is gonna be good enough for what you're gonna have to do if you launch from Boundary. If you launch from Indian, there shouldn't be a problem. So anyway, let's check out. I don't even know what these shoes are. Actually, before we answer this question, because I already have this open, I want to talk about knives really quick. Sorry to switch topics. Somebody suggested this knife to me the other day. This is the Metal Arc 2 Rescue. I love river knives. I try them all out because I want to know what's best. And my favorite knife right now is some sort of like awesome Spyderco knife. They have great blades. I'm not sure if I like this curved blade one. I think the Salt 2 is my favorite. It's got a great action, but they're like $140-$50 for these knives. They're amazing though. And I have a friend who just lost his PFD. It sucks to lose your $300 PFD and your $150 knife. So I get that. So my go-to knife is the Gerber Easy Eye Rescue knife. This thing is proven. It's awesome. You put it inside your pocket. This is an internal knife. This isn't like a big thing across your chest to make you look like a badass. This is for those of you that are subdued badasses that want a sharp knife. And this is definitely sharp. Somebody suggested the Bird Rescue knife. This is the Bird. This is like a Spyderco knife, but they're like lower end series. I think it's made in China, not as nice. So you can see the Spydercos are pretty similar in terms of like the look and the feel. And I really like this is again this curved blade. I tested out. I'm not a huge fan. It's fine. I mean, my PFDs, I have knives more like this and a little bit bigger. This is like $40 though. And, these Gerber Easy Eye Rescue knives, I think, are approaching 50. And so, if at the same cost, which one do you like more? Which one do I like more? That's kind of what I'm being asked. And so I got this to test it out. I love Spyderco knives. They make great knives. So I thought I would, on air, just do a quick test and just cut some rope and see which one cuts the rope better. This is Sterling Grab Line. It's a little bit dirty. Dirty rope cuts is harder to cut than new rope. So if you buy new rope and cut with it, you're going to have an easier time if it's like a little used and dirty. So the Spyderco, let's see how it does. Nope, no problem. And the Gerber, let's see how it does. A little more difficult. Wow. So let's just do that one more time just to get a little data set. Yeah, the Gerber, like I'd say that's 1.5 cuts. The Spyderco, oh yeah, it rips through it. Wow. I did not expect that. Wow, that's actually really impressive. And I think the Gerber has a longer blade, and having a little bit longer blade is a little bit better for cutting things. I just think the serrations on the Spyderco are better now that I look at it. And by the way, I cut my finger doing something else today, not with a knife. So after that test, I'm going to say this Bird, whatever Metal Arc, what is called Rescue 2 Metal Arc, is pretty sweet. A little bit smaller too. It's a little smaller. The only difference is the action on the Gerber is a little bit better. Those of you that stick your knife in your PFD and you pull it out, you want a nice action. So it opens up really quick. You want to be like, bam, ready to go. Just pretty fast. This one's a little sticky, a tiny bit sticky. You have a slightly harder time opening this with one hand. I can, and maybe it's just reps. It'll wear in a little bit after with reps, but it feels a little stickier. These Spydercos, the ones that are $150, the action is the best. Sorry, I keep moving out of the thing. But like the action on this knife is the best of all of them. But for, I think, $40, let's go back and look at this. This here, $53. But I think on Amazon I found it for $40. But I'm going to prove this one. The other really cool thing about this knife, and sort of an underrated thing about knives, make myself big, is that the Gerber, the way you hold it in your hand, it's different left-handed. Like this thing's in the way if you're left-handed. And so this little tab is stuck here one way. A lot of the Spyderco knives have holes here and here and here and here. So you can move the clip to any of the 4 positions. And so, like, I don't like in my, like if I put in my PFD like this and I pull it out, I want it ready to go. Whereas if it's upside down or backwards, or a left-hander might want to move this clip to that side. So this clip is stuck exactly where it is. So you have to deal with this clip where this has a movable clip. So as a knife, I don't know, I'm pretty stoked on this one after this little test I did. This tiny little test. Okay, with that, let's get back to the question. I only threw that in there because I have to move a bunch of things around. So he's asking about the NRS Storm Boot or Work Boot. NRS Storm Boot. Let's see what this is. Whoa, that's pretty burly. Rugged wet environments require traction and protection. You know, let's go back to knives for a second again. Let's go back to knives. The NRS knives are just garbage. Like it would take a lot more cuts to get to that rope. Like, I don't know, 4 or some 5, 8. The NRS does not make knives. They ship off to some company in China that makes knives, and they put their name on it, and they're terrible. I personally, this is an opinion. I'm sorry, NRS. They are so bad. I'm going to say they're unsafe because people think that they're work, and they're terrible. I think they're a net negative personally, and so they're that bad. So I'm not going to go to NRS for knives. They're not a knife company. Go to Gerber. Go to Spyderco. I kind of feel the same way about their shoes. I've never tried their shoes. I had one pair of their shoes like 15 years ago that was really good, but they're not a shoemaker. Do we know that this has really good grip on rock? I have no idea. My instinct is no, they're not that great. And I don't, this just made me honest. I don't have any affiliation with NRS, and I try not to badmouth them too much. It gets lots of stars. Let's look at Work Boot. Yeah, that looks like a work boot. I don't see any river guides working in either of these. I don't see these in the field. I've never heard of these because people don't use them. And maybe it's a new product. But what I would suggest, so I mean, sure, those are fine. I think if you're launching from Boundary, maybe you need something like this, some really burly shoe. If you're launching from Indian Creek, you probably don't. You're probably not going to get stuck unless you guys are really not that good. So hopefully that answers that question. Maybe let's look at comments, see if there's any comments. I got the Spyderco Salt Saber. Yeah, the Spyderco Salt is amazing. So the middle fork of the stamina is still blocked by logs. One of the log jams cleared, but it went down to another log jam. So there's a massive log jam. And I have some photos I'll show you in a minute. So people have shared photos with me. And there's still landslides. You have to portage. And so a few people have rafted the upper section. It is not recommended. This is for people who are athletic with solid teams, who have done many portages in the past. These are not easy portages. And I'm worried way too many people are going to launch from Boundary thinking it's not a big deal. It's a big deal. I don't recommend launching from Boundary. NRS, agreed, NRS. They're pretty bad. And they have bottle openers on them, which to me is just, it's insulting to put a bottle opener on a piece of safety equipment. But it's one of the only companies that offers PFD mounts. A lot of companies have PFD mounts. There's just no good. I have a whole box of knives here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. Anyway, I can't find it. I have all the knives. I have tons of them. There's no good external knife that is going to stay in there and be sharp. If you want quick access to be a ninja, whatever, buy that knife. Put it under PFD. It's going to make it harder for you to get into the boat because it's on your chest. If you want to take an extra 4 seconds to get your knife, but save 10 seconds cutting the rope, get a good knife. Like, that's just, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I think people like external frayed knives because some hero of theirs had one. I think it looks cool. You know, I was working with somebody the other day. They had one on their chest and one over their shoulder. And come on, and they're both NRS knives, so they both are terrible. All right, I'm not going to get into this anymore. It gets me fired up. Actually, I'll get to your far out question in a second. Let me way sidetrack. So I'm going to say, just get some Astral river shoes. My favorite shoes right now are the Adidas shoes, which you can't get. But Astral makes river shoes. I mean, NRS makes them too, but I mean, come on. These. So I would just go to Astral. This is what everybody uses. And now there's other shoes you can get for sure, but just get like the Wrestler or something. Where's Astral's website? Get honestly, like, and if you have, I mean, I wouldn't get the Loyaks. They don't have enough of a thing. Get the Wrestlers. They have a little bit of support. They're great. They grip great on rocks. Get something like this. If you want to spend some money and get something more bomber for, like, if you think you're going to be like, I don't know, pushing rocks off all day, I would get some 5'10" mountain biking shoes. That's where all the kayakers are using. Like, not all the kayakers, but a lot of kayakers are using right now. These ones right here, this pair right here for $220. These are pretty bomber. Oh man, I'm so tired of all these things. I would get these. You know, these are way better than NRS shoes. They cost more, but they have way better grip on rock. They're really beautifully designed. A lot of my kayaking friends are using these. I have a pair. I don't like them because I don't like that neoprene cuff for getting my dry suit into. But my friends swear by them. But if you don't, then just get these. Get these trail cross shoes. These things they're made for mountain biking, but I've seen tons of people use them on the water, and they're really good too. There's some cool colors. And almost any of these mountain biking shoes would probably be really good. Or 5'10" used to make canyoneering shoes. You can find them. You can get these bad boys. I mean, this is the bomb right here. The Canyoneer 3, something like this. This or these ones right here. These are Adidas, these Terex shoes. These things are sweet too. And they're $112. So what we're looking at, and they may not have your size. I think this is size 6. Yeah. If you can find these Adidas Terex shoes, I heard these La Sportiva shoes are really good, right? Man, this is great. But these 5'10" Canyoneer shoes, which you can probably find somewhere, I'm not sure if they actually make them anymore. So you have to find some used ones. Let's see. Well, what's this? But yeah, I'd go with that. I would go with these things. If you want some super burly bomber thing, don't get the NRS things. Get some Canyoneer shoe. If you just want some good, solid shoes, go with the 5'10" mountain biking shoes. If you just want something that's casual but still fine, get the Astrals. That's my opinion. Okay. Let's go back to the question. Hopefully, oh wow, there's a lot of comments. Let's see. What would you recommend? Okay, so Haldor is a swiftwater rescue instructor in Europe, and so the work boot. This is the NRS work boot. It's been around for years. It's warm. Its grip is okay. The socket breaks. Yep. We'll buy one pair of the Storm Brute. Yeah. If Haldor, I wouldn't buy anything NRS makes. Which, by the way, Haldor, I'm flying to Iceland tomorrow, so I'm not sure if you're out there, but I'm gonna hang out with Mark for a little while. Here we go. The interesting neoprene wet shoe is warm, but the traction, same thing. Traction sucks. I mean, what you really want is traction on wet rock. That's what you want. If you want warmth, hopefully, if it's cold, you're wearing a dry suit, so you can put shoes in. River shoes over dry suit. Felt bottom wading boots. Yeah, interesting. It's kind of unwieldy. When I'm doing so for me, when I'm doing difficult portages, pushing off rocks, I don't want a really bulky boot. I'm not agile with that. I want to be able to jump from rock to rock. I want to be able to jump in the boat really quick. And the more weight on your feet and the more bulky it is, the harder it is to be agile. So for me personally, I'm gonna probably take. I mean, I have these Adidas shoes that I love. They don't make anymore. So I'm using now. I would probably go with the Astrals because they're pretty affordable, or maybe those mountain biking shoes. Anything bulkier than that is just it's a lot of shoe. I understand we can expect rain, even snow. Wait, here. Okay, hold on. Bestard. Yeah, is that a European? There's some European shoes that the Mark's using that are bomber, but I don't think we can get them over here. Terex Heat RDY. Yeah, so that's like I haven't one of the Adidas. I bet those are great. Whatever Zach just said, I bet those are awesome. And any Adidas shoes are probably great. Yeah, no more 5'10". How many sizes of your shoe size do you go wearing a dry suit with socks? I personally go about half a size. Yeah. But I think everybody's different. It's really hard to figure out. La Sportiva Canyon. I bet that shoe is awesome too. Is that one that I've already found? The La Sportiva Canyon XT, or here's a TX. Let me see if I can pull this up. Back. Is this the one, the TX, or do you mean the XT? There's a La Sportiva Canyon shoe. Let's look it up. Rafting magazine was all about a little while ago. I mean, I've used these actually. There's these like hiking approach shoes, and they were great. I mean, yeah, your feet will get wet, but I used these. They're great. Oh, they didn't show up. But those La Sportiva TX3s I've used. Canyon approach shoe. Yeah, I think my guess is this thing is amazing. $189. They look cool. Okay, so let's get back to the question. I think there's a second part. Second, in terms of clothes, I have an old splash suit. I also have a pair of Sims fly fishing pant waders, pants only as opposed to chest waders, that I thought I could pair with high quality Terex raincoat with a hood. I would wear layers underneath as needed. Thoughts on this? We don't sell apparel. I mean, we sell some t-shirts and stuff. Okay, so I'm going to say don't wear fly fishing pant waders. If you swim, they'll fill with water, and it's going to be really hard to swim because you have so much mass. People say they have sunk. People can sink in these. So an old splash suit is going to keep splashes off you, but you need a dress for the swim. In October, if you fall out of that boat and swim, what's a splash suit going to do? You're not going to warm up. I'm going to say get a dry suit. Just get a dry suit. If you're, let me rephrase that. If you're with a bunch of really solid boaters and they're like class 4 or 5 boaters, you probably shouldn't swim. And you won't get stuck. You probably shouldn't get stuck. So you don't have to worry about pushing up rocks, and you don't have to worry about swimming. That's if you're launching from Indian. If you're from Indian with solid boaters, you're probably fine in your splash suit. I wouldn't wear waders. That waders are irresponsible. Splash suit with some warm clothes. But if you guys are all being challenged here, you need a dry suit. If you're with people who don't know the river or aren't, or like class 3 plus boaters, you're gonna want to get a dry suit. And you can rent a dry suit. It's not that hard. And that's going to save the day. So I'd go with that. I wouldn't just wearing a rain jacket and splash pants if you fall out could be potentially really dangerous. If you're launching from Boundary and you guys are doing with the portages and all that, it's really cold up there, which I don't recommend. I hope you're not launching from Boundary. I don't think it's a good idea for 99% of people. Almost, I would say dry suit. I would just go straight dry suit. Okay, let's get back to this question. Now, I'm going to make myself big and get back to this question about far out and go rafting. So what I want to do is take a second and talk about our sponsor, Far Out, the Far Out app and GoRafting.com. And it's pretty cool having a sponsor. I'm super stoked. And so I really want to promote them. I think they're a great organization. The the guys that go rafting are boaters, and they go boating and they make maps, and they don't have unlimited maps yet. They're doing them a little bit at a time, the best they can, but they are solid maps. I used them in the Grand Canyon. I was sold. Helped us find camps we wanted. Helped us know how many miles it was to our next place. It knows where you are on the map and the mileage, and tells you how far it is to things. It's a killer app, and it's on your phone. I wish I could figure out. Maybe I'll figure out someday how to bring it up so you can see it. But it's just an app, and you just pull it up, and you're like scrolling through things. Like, hey, here's where we're at. Oh, it's 3 miles to here. Cool. There's in the next 10 miles. Here's the camps. It either shows you on a map or lays it out chronologically. It's really cool. So I really want to promote our sponsor because they're great, and I've used their stuff, and I'm sold on it. They have a bunch of cool maps. If you're going to go to the Grand Canyon, the Middle Fork of the Salmon, I just think this is the future of maps. And the Middle Fork of the Salmon just changed. Like massive changes happened. Matt Latiker has to put out a whole new paper book, and Matt Latiker's maps are great. But people that have paper books have to now make new paper books, which may take a year, or your book from 2 years ago isn't really good anymore, where the app can be updated as things change. So I'm guessing they haven't updated. Let's look. I hate to put them on the spot. Let's see. We're in the Rockies. Let's look at the Middle Fork. Have they updated their map to talk about some of the new things that happened? Let's just look. And I get so many of these things. Okay, so Gardell's Hole, Sulphur Slide. Yeah, so they haven't yet updated Sulphur Slide, that there's a massive logjam there. But I expect that they will pretty soon, right? And so all this information about what's happening, like here, here's information about that rapid, but they even put in here, on August 13th, 2023, this creek had a debris flow, blah, 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 blah. So Hell's Half Mile, they need to update. Velvet Falls, they need to update. Oh, there it says updated. This is updated from 2023. Yep. Well, they need to update this again. This is updated, but it needs to be more updated. But they will. So my point is, like, I'm sure by next summer they'll have updates for these new rapids. So one of the cool things about getting these maps from them is you get a living document that gets updated. It's normal. So I'm a big fan of this stuff. And I'm right now working with them on an Illinois map. There's no good Illinois map out there. The only one is a book that costs like $800. Nobody can even get it. So I'm hoping by next spring to have an Illinois map done with them, because I just believe in what they're doing. So anyway, thanks GoRafting.com for being a sponsor. And I hope everybody thinks about getting their maps when they go on trips. So here's a question about it. How is your GPS service to the Grand Canyon while using the app? Did you find any significant lab times while it pinpointed your location? Yeah, it wasn't perfect. Sometimes you would turn it on and have to wait 3 or 4 minutes. So yeah, sometimes it would still think I'm at camp when we weren't at camp. So I don't know. I would say, just from memory, maybe one time I waited 10 minutes. So once it got it, it was good at locking it. But like if you got on the river and I turned the app on, it will still think I'm at camp for a while. But then once it got the GPS signal throughout the rest of the day, it was pretty solid. So it wasn't perfect, but it was good. It was good. I would say totally adequate, slightly better than adequate. All right. Any more comments before we go on? Trevor from Rafting Magazine. Yeah. He did like some videos, I think, about it. He was pretty stoked on them. I will just add that I purchased the Go Raft application using my Rogue River trip this weekend. And yeah, dude, for the Rogue. And, one struggle with the Rogue is knowing camps. There's camping, as we know, camping is an issue on the Rogue. Partially because people don't know the camps. There's a zillion of them. And if they're on the app in front of you, you can be like, oh, cool. Maybe I don't need to take this 20-person camp from my group of 4 because I see 5 4-person camps just downstream. So, thanks for the note, and I'm glad it worked out. And what was it like? I don't know. Was it like $15? Let's look. Let's look how much it cost to buy the Rogue. $9.99, $10. And yeah, it includes photos. Super sweet. So, yep. All right. Thank you for the sponsor. We'll move on to the next question. Hopefully we answered this question about footwear and apparel pretty well. That was a mess. Notification of upcoming shows. I've missed the last couple live Q&A shows. My preferred platform is Facebook, but haven't been getting notifications lately. I see they're posted live after the event. Is there a change in where and how you notify? So I don't do the notifications. I just make the show and go live on YouTube and Facebook, and things magically happen. Here's what I know. We don't, like, when we set the show up, it defaults to YouTube, and sometimes we forget to click Facebook. So sometimes the show is on Facebook, sometimes it's not. We'll try to do better at making it on Facebook too. We'll try to do better, but no promises. But a good way to get notifications is to ring the bell. So in YouTube, if you go down, let me see if I can figure this out really quick. Let me bring this up, show everybody how this works. And if you all did this now, that'd be killer. If you go on let's just go, and this looks interesting. If you go here and hit subscribe, we'll have to be logged in. Hit subscribe, but somewhere over here, there's a bell. And if you click the bell, I think it emails you every time something happens. And so it helps us subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Let me see if the bell's over here. Nope. Yeah, but subscribe. And if there's a little bell, ring the bell. That'll help YouTube notify you. And then we'll do better at posting on Facebook. But we're not perfect, and we make mistakes. Okay. First Middle Fork salmon trip. I want to say big thank you to you and Good Garage. Yeah, cool. You've inspired confidence and passion to take my first trip to the Middle Fork. We dealt with portages in the upper section. Man, you were one of the rare people that did it. We decided to launch from Boundary with a 16-foot round boat and 3 deckies. I do not recommend anybody launches with a 16-foot round boat. I don't know, whoever sent this thing, you're amazing. But that's a lot of portaging and brutal portaging. No cooler or dry box. Yeah, I mean, if you keep it light, but it's a lot of work. This is great for 20 and 30-year-olds who have a lot of extra energy, but this is not for most people. We made it through and ran into your crew at India and chatted with Brody briefly as you want to hear about their adventure. Yeah, everybody's curious about what it's like up there. We played leapfrog with a trip. I have some photos I'd love to share. I learned a lot. I had a blast despite the difficult conditions. It rained. So on us, like when they caught up with us, our guests didn't get in the day they were supposed to. They had to stay in Stanley one more night because the rain was so bad. They flew in the afternoon of the second day. So our crew was there for a couple of days. I felt like I knew the rapids after watching so many videos. Yeah, cool. Yeah. I mean, hopefully, for some people, the videos are helpful. For some people don't like them. So yeah, I'm glad they're helping you. But this viewer, whoever sent this in, sent in some photos I want to share. And so I'll try to narrate them the best I can. This is the top of Hell's Half Mile. So above Hell's Half Mile, there was a log jam in the entrance. You can still run the rapid, I think. There's still water going down river left, but this is a new log jam at the top. Yeah, portaging that 16-foot boat was probably a lot of work. It's a lot of stuff. This is, oh, cool, a black bear on river, right? I don't see it, but that's cool. Ran the middle channel. And so, yeah, there is a line through here, but this is not for most people. Like, if you make a mistake, you have a swimmer in this, it could be deadly. And so all that wood in there are routes, but this is not for the faint of heart. Like, this is like you mess up on the Middle Fork of the salmon. Normally, whatever, you get stuck. You get stuck. Maybe you flip, whatever. You mess up here, somebody could go under a log and die. This is really hazardous. So there is a line, but man, it's high stakes. So please, those of you thinking about launching from Boundary, please, please, please take it seriously. I wouldn't recommend it. Same rapid, like wood everywhere. Super dangerous. Here they are. Oh, wow. So here they are portaging. This is the log jam below Hell's Half Mile at the very bottom. And so they had to unrig everything and walk everything around and do this portage. This is work. This is hard work. And it'd be pretty easy to pop a boat doing this, which just makes your day way worse. Yep, there's all the stuff taken off. They did this multiple times. Top of Velvet, same thing. They get to Velvet. There's a log jam. They portage around the whole thing. There's no way nobody's running this. I'm carrying all this stuff around. And then here, this is our group. These are our guides down here in this tarp. Just kind of sitting, waiting for people to show up. And here we are that's hospital. Yep, hospital bar. Sweet. Another photo. And I mean, I'm really proud of this to see this, because this is how I feel like we should have boats on rivers. They should be all together, kind of tied together. It just looks sharp, but also if a group came in to say hi and land, we're not taking up the whole beach. So like when I'm above a scout at lunch, it's just good form to have your boats kind of all together like that and not just be a mess everywhere. God, that looks good. That's a nice looking boat grouping. Yeah. The hospital bar is a cool camp. It can just get super windy. Another photo. Cool. Thanks for sharing the photos. All right. Let's go back to the questions. Belly bands. Did your group rig lines under the boats in the Grand Canyon to help somebody climb on if there's a flip? Would you run cam straps, bow to stern, rig loops of webbing through the lacing in the floor, or rig line side to side? Also, someone suggested adding a tag line as well, since the Grand is so wide. Okay. If anybody has thoughts like this, the Q&A show is not about me just answering the questions. I would certainly encourage anybody who's watching who has thoughts on this, put them in the comments. It really helps. So I don't think I did a Grand Canyon trip last October. I don't think any of us did this. I highly recommend it. I just don't remember us doing it. I can't remember if I did. I may have. I can't even remember, to be honest with you. I can climb on an upside down boat. Like I have the fitness and the training and the practice to climb on an upside down or right side up boat. So if a boat flips, I can get on. I don't need a belly line. So it's not something I'm personally am going to like freak out about, but it's a really good idea. And a belly line, and they call it a belly band here, is some sort of webbing or cam strap bow to stern under the boat. Now, this rope under the boat is something you could hit a rock and could get tagged on. So I'm not going to run this in the middle fork of the salmon at low water, but I don't think it will be the end of the world. I don't think it's also a huge issue. I think that people freak out too much about lines under the boats. If somebody had one on the middle fork of low water, I might like joking around tease them, but it's probably fine. On the Grand Canyon, there aren't that many rocks to hit. I think it's really smart to have this rope. And then, so when the boat goes upside down, you can grab it and pull yourself up the boat. And then if you're riding through a rapid upside down, you have something to grab, right? If you're just on an upside down boat going through a rapid, you're likely to get kicked off again, unless there's like a line down the middle. And you can pull 3 or 4 people in the boat and 3 or 4 people can hold the line. So I'm going to say this line down the middle, bow to stern, highly recommended. Rig loops of webbing through lacing the floor. I do that a lot on my boats. Awesome idea. Just little handles you can pull yourself up on, and then you could hold on to if you needed to. They could be hand entrapment, so you want to make them small loops. A tagline like cats. You mean just like a line that's going? I wouldn't do that. That seems hazardous to me. It makes sense on cataracts. I think in the Grand Canyon, I'm probably not going to do a tagline. Just a 6 or 10 foot line dragging behind you. I don't think that's good form. Yeah, that's so that if you fall out, near the boat, you can grab it and pull yourself to the boat. I can swim, so I'm not going to do that. Maybe if I had some physical fitness issues or couldn't swim, I might see the value in that. But the extra hazard is just, I don't think it's smart. Okay, let's do one more. We've done a side topic already on these knives, which I'm excited about. Talked about Go Rafting, our sponsor. Thanks for being a sponsor. I'll talk about Watershed really quick. And then we'll get to our last question and be done. So I have this Watershed bag from 25 years ago. I used this last 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, on the Tuolumne. It's still my go-to dry bag. I think I used it in the Grand Canyon last fall. Oh, no, I didn't use it because I tried out a Yeti bag. But this has several hundred, 500 plus, I don't know, a lot of river days on. 25 years of boating on this bag. You can see it's dirty. Still works great. It's probably got 20 more years of life in it. Watershed used to make the most bomber bags of all time. Right here. This is one of them. They don't even make this color anymore. It has the old style buckles. It's so old it has just these plastic buckles that are cheap and thin. That's how old it is. And I've even broken some off. Like this one's even broken off because they're not that great. They used to make the most amazing dry bags. And then I saw the fabric not be as good. And I've seen several friends' dry bags wear out after like Watershed bags, 5 seasons, 8 seasons. I don't know. and the UV, they just get destroyed by UV. So the red ones turn into be like pink. And so, I mean, it seems like the past 15 years or so, their bags have been, the fabric hasn't been as good. The original ones, I'm going to tell you, are bomber. You could buy the military grade fabric. And so I've special ordered a bunch of military grade fabric dry bags from Watershed that we've used. They're as good as this, I think. They're bomber. The military grade bags are bomber. But I've been really disappointed in the bags they sell to the general public. And my guess is they didn't want to keep, it's hard to raise the price to be competitive. And so they went with a less quality material to keep the price the same. That's my guess. I don't know. Who knows? I have no idea. But Watershed sent me a note the other day. They're making new bags and they sent me a sample. And this is one of their new dry bags. And this fabric is awesome. I'm a connoisseur of high quality stuff in fabric. And I can just tell right away from using many Watershed bags, this is a 25, 30-year bag. Like they're back. And the new colors, I mean, this purple is a new color, I think. It's awesome. Just the whole construction of it just feels better than the bags in the past. So I feel like Watershed's really stepping up their game. These are going to be announced soon. They're super cool. If you're in the market for a dry bag, and I just want to say they gave me this for free, so I have some sort of affiliation with them. So I'll always tell you if like I'm paid or if I'm given something for free. This was given to me for free, so I'm saying this with having that in mind. This is awesome. If you're in the market for a dry bag, just wait. In the next month or so, they're going to announce these, and this is a solid bag. It just feels so good in the hand. I'm taking it on a trip with me tomorrow. I'm super stoked Watershed is back into the quality bag. And their bags, even before this fabric, even with the fabric I'm going to say is less quality, are pretty much the only actually waterproof bags. When you go buy a dry bag from anybody else, it's not really waterproof. It will probably leak. If you shut it perfectly, maybe they're waterproof. But the only other bag I'm gonna call waterproof are the dib bags, and those are like $200 to $500 each. They're super expensive. But this zipper closure, this system, I've carried drones in these. I've carried my $3,000 camera in these. I trust these 100% my passport, anything in terms of waterproofness. There's no other bag other than a dib I trust my camera in. So they definitely make the only truly waterproof bags, in my opinion. But then now with this new fabric, and I hope they're raising the price. Whatever a Watershed bag is now, like $100. With this fabric, it's worth $190. Like, it's expensive, but we got inflation going on, and so like I would pay $190 for this bag. It's that good. The fabric is that good. Now, if you think $190 is a ridiculous amount of money, cool. Go buy some cheaper bag. You're gonna be fine. But for me, when I want something that is actually works and is gonna last me 20, 30 years, I will pay the money. Okay. So anyway, thanks Watershed for sending me the bag and for making just awesome stuff. Okay, let's keep going here. I will add that I just purchased the GoWraft application using my regular. Oh, I already got that one. Here we go. I run a belly band style flip line underneath my raft from side to side. Yeah, side to side's fine too. I think battle stern's better, but side to side's fine. I use a 12-inch strap from the holes in the floor. Yeah. I think side to side's fine, especially if you want to climb up the sides. But I've run side to side before. I'm just convinced that end to end is better. I did not get the purge valve. I think the purge valves are silly. If they gave me a purge valve one, I would say thanks for the bag and I don't know, send it back or something. I have purge valves in some of my bags, and they're just one more thing they can break and you have to deal with. You can purge these bags if you know how to close them. Just like when you get down to like here, just push the air out and then lock them. I don't think they need the purge valves. I think the purge valves are ridiculous. Maybe some people need them. I think for the military, they make some sense. But yeah. Tagline required in the Kennebec. Interesting. I'd love to hear more. What do you mean required? Like rafts? And how long is the tagline? And what's the tag? Is this like a 6-foot cam strap or is this a rope? What does that mean? I'd love to have more details on this. Okay, cool. We're almost done. I think this is almost last. Oh, that was the last question. Cool. Yep, we're done. So while I have you all here, I have a few more photos I want to bring up since we have a few more minutes now, a little more time of the log jam. Some of my friends kayaked it just the other day. And let me see if I can find it here. I should have had this ready, everyone. I apologize for being super slow. Here we go. So these are photos from Middle Fork as well that haven't gotten out there. My friend Nick Kayak didn't send me. Let's go through these really quick. So the big log jam that weren't in those last photos is the sulfur slide log jam, which is, everybody who's seen it is like, it is massive. It's 4 times, the words I've heard is 4 times as big as the previous log jams. So yeah, and I don't think you can run the left side right now. The wood's too bad. So this is a portage, and that 16-foot boat. This isn't epic. I mean, this is, anytime there's a new landslide like this, these rocks are moving around, and so when you're walking on rocks that are moving, it's super easy to get hurt, sprain an ankle or something. So I just can't say enough. Like, please don't launch a boundary. Like, it's not gonna be a big deal. It's a massive undertaking, and you could get hurt walking. Logs and sulfur slide. This is, so what we're looking at now is what used to be called lower sulfur slide. There would be like sulfur slide rapid, a little bit of calm for like 100 feet, and then this rapid around the right bend. This is portaging sulfur slide. So that just really gives us some scale to how big it is. I mean, these are kayakers portaging it, so I'm pretty sure rafters are not gonna have much luck running that. Same place. This still so, this looks like somewhere else. Huh. Maybe that's the, is this velvet? This might be velvet. Let's see what we get to. This is Hill's Half Mile, the top of Hill's Half Mile, the new one. And then that previous poster who sent the message had run the raft down this. So supposedly it's runnable. This is Velvet. So we're looking at Velvet Creek below. Like if you're looking down, that's Velvet Creek entering. And this is kind of like looks like he did some sort of, whoa, that's cool. Some sort of 3D thing. So there's all that rock. And then, yeah, this is somehow the bottom. I don't see the triangle rock here in Velvet, but whatever. And that looks like it's it. It's all of them. Yeah. So pretty burly thing that happened. All right. So let me go back to here. I'll answer a few more questions and we'll finish this one up. Nice hat. You spent some time with Arda lately on the T. Yeah, I guided a trip for Arda on the T just last week. So I was down there for a 3-day trip. And they gave me this cool hat. Check it out. It's very super comfy. It is 010 foot rope on the back required. What's a 010? Are you saying a 10-foot rope on the back is required? Is it? I don't have to wait for the answer. I'm not sure when we run that long on the show. I'll try. No, I'll wait. Is it 10 feet of uncoiled rope? Are you saying just because a tagline is just a rope that's free? So what I think I'm hearing you say is 10 feet of rope uncoiled is dragging behind you. Or do you think tagline means like bow and stern line, which is just rope coiled up that can be used for different things? So is this coiled or uncoiled rope, and what's the distance? All right, let's go back here. Oh, that's cool. And while we finish up, look at Whitewater Guidebook really fast. So if you have questions or comments, I'm going to be traveling for the next, I think, 3 weeks. I may or may not do shows. I'm going to try to do the shows if I can. I have some really cool Friday stuff I want to do for members, and I will continue to try to do Q&A shows. We may do them on an uneven schedule. We'll see what happens. But if you have questions you want answered, I've been answering questions here. There's another one of those in the forum. And so shoot a question in the forum. I mean, I'll be happy to answer those things while I'm away. And if you have questions for the show, click Gear Garage up here and go to ask a question or comments. I know this message thing sucks. It should be bigger. Maybe I'll fix it when I'm traveling. But write your email, like write it in an email or somewhere, or like a Word doc, and then cut and paste it into here. That way you can edit your question. I get a lot of questions that are poorly written that make no sense. And I think it's because this message box is so small. So if you write it somewhere else, copy it, paste it in here, that makes it easier. So yeah, I hope to see him on the show again someday, dude. Steve is teaching rowing school for Northwest today. He launched on a 5-day trip. So, and he's going to be doing trips for the next 3 or 4 weeks. So Steve's going to be gone for a while. And so we're all going to be kind of gone for a bit. Yeah, here we go. A 10-foot rope off the back of the raft is required by main law of a commercial rafting trail. A 10-foot rope off the back of a raft is required by main law of a commercial raft. I don't really understand this bit, the last like 8 words you wrote, but cool. And I think the question I have is the rope just dangling 10 feet long and just following you behind you like a dangerous snake, or is it coiled responsibly? My guess is coiled responsibly. I can't imagine a law that requires a rope just free, uncoiled, 10 feet following a boat. It's a hazard. It's a super hazard. So I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait for your answer unless maybe we're still here, but like, I'm pretty sure that a decent law would be, yeah, you have some sort of line on your raft that is coiled and not dangerous. A law requiring an uncoiled rope seems dangerous. Now on catarafts, it's a whole separate thing because the bound stern is far away from you. There's one person in the center. There's not a paddle boat of 6 people. And there's a lot of value in catarafts. I think in rafts, there's a lot of things to grab, like the handles all around the boat. So I'm okay with a 6 foot, what are they called again? 6 foot tagline on catarafts. I'm personally not okay with taglines on rafts because there's other things you can do. You can drag the message box to be bigger. Yeah, you know what? It looks like you can, but you can't. Check this out. It's not working for me. So maybe some people can do it. I know some people have had a hard time. I can't do it. So I understand other people can't. Didn't see any other whitewater rescue courses for the private boat on your website. Any chance you might offer a whitewater rescue course in lieu of swiftwater course next year? What do you mean in lieu of a swiftwater course? Well, we're going to offer more of our rescue classes. We in general don't have the capacity to run the classes we've been asked to do at a high level. I could just throw classes out there and throw instructors at it, and it would be adequate. Like I could run as many courses as we need to a minimum level. And I just don't want to do that. I want to make sure when we run courses, we're running at the highest level possible. So Heidi, I'm going to add some classes. I just need to confirm when I have solid staffing around and we have time for training beforehand to make sure that they're at the highest level. So I'm sure we'll do some. I think we're going to do some on like Clackamas next year. I think we're going to do them there. And just please be patient. Like we're working on getting them up there. We have a waiting list for rescue classes. And it's just a matter of me getting all my ducks in a row. Same thing with the class 4 schools. I'm trying to add one more. I just need to make sure we have capacity and really good instructors and time for training. So we're not just throwing out a mediocre class. I don't want to be doing that. Is there any good to eating salmon? Yeah, the Pork Peddler is awesome. If you want a steak, go to the Shady Nook. The Pork Peddler is great if they're open. I mean, the new brewery Highlander. I just had some pizza from the other night. What pizza did we get? There was this like barbecue sauce pizza that was amazing. The Highlander has good beer and good pizza. So yeah, there's good food and salmon for sure. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, I mean, call Mark and go train with him. Yeah, he's amazing. I'm actually flying to Iceland tomorrow to hang out with him for a week. So he's a good guy to spend time with and boat with. But if you want to train with Mark, shoot him a call and he does classes all over the world. He's a great dude. I would love to get him to teach some of our rescue classes, and he may next spring. I just need to confirm all that. So we'll see what happens. Well, that's a show, everyone. Thanks you all for watching and supporting the show. I appreciate up here. Heather, thanks for being a member. That's awesome. And those of you that are members, it costs like $2 a month. There's higher levels, but $2 a month is super, super generous of anybody who does it. We're super grateful. It tells me that this stuff is valuable. We do some members only shows, mainly because there's footage I just don't want to make public, but I'll do for a small subset of people that's like behind the scenes. and we'll try to do more members only giveaways over the winter. It's been a really busy summer, and having doing shows has been hard in the summer. And as soon as things slow down a little bit, we're going to do more members only shows, more contests, more things. I've been just barely surviving the summer in terms of getting content out there. So we'll do a lot more stuff here in the fall, and I really appreciate the members, and really appreciate everybody who's going to like and subscribe. And hopefully we'll do a show next Tuesday. And if not, we'll see you in a couple weeks.